More feature racing continues at the Creek this Saturday night, night 2 of the Racing Queensland Summer Carnival coming our way. We had a cracking night last Saturday night. The fields, I think, are even stronger this weekend. It is going to be a great night. Welcome along to Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by 1Equine for the equine athlete. We're back at Albion Park Saturday night, 10 races. We kick off around 5:30. All in all, it's a really strong program. The Queensland Cup and the Forever Gold for the mares, they're the two highlight features. There's a lot to look forward to. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to catch up with some of the major players. Young Jack Chapple, he's going to make his debut on Weekend Winners, and he'll be joined by Pete McMullen. The Summer Carnival continues at Albion Park. Jack Chapple jumps in the hot seat, and he's about to join us now. Jack, appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
You've got some good drives here on Saturday night. We start in the first with Mr. Domingo. He's become your drive since you've made the move to Brisbane, and you've had good success with him, including his last start. How does he sort of measure up in this race on the weekend?
Yeah, it was a good run last start here at Redcliffe, and a bit of a stronger opposition, but he's got a handy barrier draw, so hopefully with a bit of luck he can figure it in the finish. You've
had success with Mr. Domingo at Albion Park previously. Is it fair to say his best form is at Redcliffe, or do you think he just needs to find the right race at Albion Park for him to shine properly?
I think he just sort of is a kind of horse that needs the right run at any track, and if he gets that split of luck, he'll be in the finish. If the race is run to suit him, when he won here at Redcliffe, everything sort of went his way. He landed 1-1 and was able to come with one run. So if things go his way there on the weekend, I expect him to be in the money there somewhere.
So is this a perfect draw for him, gate 2?
It probably is, yeah, Chris. He can. He's not overly blessed with gate speed, so hopefully we can get a nice trailing run in the running line there and save him for one shot at him.
There's no standout in this race. It looks really open.
No, I thought it was pretty open. There's a horse from Bathurst bringing some form lines through there, but in general, I think it is a pretty even race.
All right, well, that's Mr. Domingo in race number 1. Let's go to race 2. I'm keen to get your thoughts here on Bombardier Jujon. I found this race really difficult to assess, and I think he's got a good chance here, Bombardier Jujon. Last week, were you happy with what he delivered on the track?
Yeah, I thought it was a great run last week. He worked hard early and then got held up from the 400 onwards, and when he got clear air, he savaged the line and picked up third, so I was pretty happy with his efforts. He's come up with a good draw again here on Saturday night, so we'll go from there. Yeah, he's a versatile horse, and again with this draw on Saturday night, 2 off the second row, he could be a real threat if the breaks come his way late. He is, yeah. He can win in multiple different ways, so it's a feather in his cap in that way. So hopefully, if a bit of luck goes his way, we can be in the finish.
Is he a cool horse to drive? Is he like an old gentleman?
He is, yeah. He knows his own way around the track. I don't have to do too much with him. He's had a lot of starts, and yeah, he's one of the best there is to drive. Okay. Also in this race, Better Than Popsy, and you've combined with good success with him. Is it a difficult one here? Better Than Popsy, that's the horse you're following out as well, but Bombardier Jujon is your drive. They're 2 of your favourites, I'm tipping. Yeah, they are. I've had quite an enjoyable time driving both of them since I've moved here, and they're both racing well, so it was a hard decision. All right.
Again, this is like the first race. There's no standout performer. It looks really open.
It is. It's an even race again, so if things are run in Bombardier's way, he can figure in it for sure. Okay, let's go across to race 4. This is one of our features, and this is the Bill Dixon, so named after the legendary horseman, Grant's father, and you're driving for Grant here with Watermelon Sugar. They've had good success in this race previously, so it comes with a little bit of pressure. I think he's the horse that's dropping back in grade here. He took on the open class horses last time out. That was the race won by Northview Hustler. He looks like he fits into this race really well. He does, yeah. He's got a good draw, and he's back in grade. In his last few starts, he's been behind sort of horses like Brados Lad and Northview Hustler, so it is a drop in grade. Still a solid enough run race, but he's got the handy draw, which will play in his favour. The draw, let's dig down on the draw a little bit here. Is it potentially a little sticky? Because those horses to your inside both have early speed, My Name's Evan and Glover, so how do you see it early? It looks good on paper, but it could be a bit tricky. Sort of both the horses drawn to my inside possess good gate speed, so it's sort of hard to see where I'll land early, but we'll have to come out as good as we can and play it from there. Yeah, it's one of those ones, the gate 3, gate 4 at Albion Park at the mile, if you're going forward at that trip, you've really got to commit. Yeah, it can be a good and a bad draw at times. If you're not overly blessed with gate speed, you sort of got to come out with everything you got, otherwise you could get put fair way back in the running line. Okay, but you're confident he'll race well? Yes, he's been racing well in harder grades, so I think he'll appreciate the softer race, and yeah, expect a good show from him.
All right, let's go across to race 6. This is the Group 3 Trotters Sprint. They've given you no favours here with the barrier draw. Outside of the front row at a mile, Zealous Spur. You've driven this guy previously. How do you think he measures up here from that draw?
He's been racing well since he returned from a freshen-up. The draw gives him no favours, but I think he's definitely up to him, but it was sort of hard to see where he'll land from the draw. He's probably going to be a long way off and with a big task to do, but he is racing well.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong here. You haven't driven this horse?
No, I haven't. My first drive on him. I've driven him a couple of times in track work, but not at the races yet.
Okay, so likely to go back?
I'd say so. There is a lot of speed to his inside, and drawn 7, I think that'd be his best option.
Yeah. Last week, it was just one of those forget runs. Everything that could go wrong sort of did go wrong for him last week.
Yeah, nothing went in his favour. He got held up, and the small opportunity he was presented with, he made up a bit of ground late, but yeah, there wasn't much he could do from the run he was presented. Okay,
Royal Dan, is he the horse to beat up from Sydney for Jason Grimson?
Yeah, definitely. He's got the draw on most of his rivals, and he looks the one to beat on my paper.
Okay. Race 7, this is the Bill Dixon Consolation. This is a horse that you know really well. Captain's Pick, Gate 1. Is this ideal for him?
It is, yeah. He has been racing well just without the barrier draw to really take advantage of a race. So barrier draw definitely plays in his favour, and he should be amongst them for sure.
All right, so how does this race play out early? He gets off the gate well. There's good speed to your outside. Ideally, where would you like to be positioned?
I think ideally I'd like to be behind the leader with him. He probably doesn't have the speed to bury through and hold out some of his rivals, but we'll just have to get him off as good as he can, and he may well land in front. We'll just have to weigh it up as we go, but he is versatile. He can lead or come off a helmet. So.
All right, so if he does end up in front, you're confident that he can take them all the way?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, the way he's been racing, and I think he's well graded in the event, so I think he definitely could for sure.
All right. Your final drive on Saturday night. This is a good drive, good opportunity as well. Ironclad, who goes around in this listed feature for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. He's back from that Sydney campaign where he took on the Breeders' Challenge. You looking forward to this one?
Yeah, definitely. It's great to pick up a drive on such a nice 3-year-old like him. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
All right. What do you do with this barrier draw? Inside of the second row, do you try and get off as quickly as possible?
I think that'll probably be his best shot. He sort of, all his main dangers have got the swing on him in the barrier draw perspective, but he's not following out the quickest beginner, so go off what Grant says. But I think his best chances would be to try and come off and get him as close as possible.
All right, the Turpin duo, look, the obvious horses to beat here, the Janitor and Attachment, who won the Peak of the Creek last week, so they're going to be in front of you at some point, so they're the ones to beat?
Yeah, for sure. They've got the good barrier draws and going to land handy position, so we're going to have a task to try and come wide and catch him, but he's racing well, and he's a handy 3-year-old, so hopefully we'll be thereabouts.
All right, you're doing a super job here in Brisbane. It'd be great to pick up a feature race win on the weekend, though, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. Grant and Trista have been great to me since I've been here, and grateful for the opportunities they've given me, especially on Saturday night in the feature races, so it'd be great to get the job done for them.
Which one are you most looking forward to?
Probably Ironclad. I think he's been impressive in his 3-year-old year, so it's great to pick up the drive on him, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Group 1 place last time out behind the stablemate Air Express. So race 8, number 8, Ironclad for Jack Chapple. Jack, really appreciate the time. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you trackside.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. Appreciate it.
Pete McMullen now joins us to go through his book of drives on the weekend. Pete, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris. Really appreciate talking to you.
Oh, excellent. Appreciate you as well. Hey, what about the show you put on last week? You and your wife, Chantel, 4 winners on the first night of the Summer Carnival. That's a great night at the office.
Yeah, our luck was in last week. Everything just sort of worked out really well. We had some good quality horses racing, and we've got the trips to go with it.
How are the confidence levels ahead of this weekend?
Oh, look, everything seems well, but you just never know.
All right, well, let's start with the first of our features, the Group 3 Forever Gold. You picked up the drive on Madrigal, 2 off the second row. How do you assess her chances here?
Oh, to be honest, this is a pretty hard race for her. She's been racing really well, but these are some of the best mares in the country, so she's going to be right on top of her game, to be competitive there.
All right, Chinchilla Tay Tay, that's the focus at this point in time. You got a bird's eye view of Chinchilla last week. How does this race play out? Does Chinchilla hold and park Tay Tay?
Yeah, I think so. I think Chinchilla will be on the front end, and Tay, she's either going to do some work or show her great sprint, which she can do.
All right, let's move across to race 4, the Bill Dixon. This is an excellent drive here. Duke of Scotland, he's well above average, this guy. Drawn the inside of the second row. Are you confident the one horse, my name's Evan, has got the speed to lead?
Oh, look, he's a go-forward horse and, does have good gate speed. So, we haven't got many options, so we just got to, hope that it all works out well for us.
All right, well, let me ask this question. If he does lead, my name's Evan, and you're right on his back, can they hold you out in the home straight?
Oh, look, it just depends on, how well we sort of get in the sprint lane and how much momentum we sort of have when we get there. But, we do think a lot of Duke of Scotland and, to be honest, we sort of thought this was a perfect race for him and the barrier draw probably wasn't ideal.
Okay. He trialled really well recently, and then he stepped out in that super fast free-for-all, which was won by Always Smoke and over was a heat seeker. That form line speaks for itself. So he's clearly the horse to beat here if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Is there anything else coming up for him that you're looking at?
No, not really. We just sort of take one race at a time and just sort of see where he fits with his ratings and that sort of thing, and just try and maximise his earning potential.
All right, let's move across to the Queensland Cup Group 2 feature for the open class performers. Black Sedance. What a run that was last week. He was enormous running second. How did you assess the run, and how's he been since?
Yeah, no, we were super pleased last week. We just weren't sure exactly where he was, but from hitting the line that good, it was really pleasing, and everything sort of suggests that he'll run a great race again this week.
Okay, so last week, what was the mindset going into that race? Because given his barrier draw and being a mile, most just sort of dismissed him. But how did you go about it, and what was the plan of attack with Black Sedance?
To be honest, it was just one of the things. Obviously, the barrier draw was against us, and we were just in the hands of the gods a little bit, and we knew they were going to go fast, and once we switched back to the fence, I didn't really know where we were going to be, and got a clear run top of the straight, and he really let down great. But he's just a horse that loves fast pace, and that's what happened last week. And it doesn't matter if he's on the front end or coming off it. When they're going hard, he really loves it.
Yeah. So have we sort of pigeonholed him a little too much throughout his career? When we think of Black Sedance, we think he's got to be up in the thick of the action on the front end. But he's done that before, where he can just rattle a quarter and just hit the line so strongly like he did last week.
Yeah, definitely. He's just a bit sort of big and gangly, I suppose, and his change-up speed is not great. But if they're going fast the whole way, he doesn't need to change his sort of speed. He can run through a line like, better than probably most horses can.
Yeah. So how does this race shake out on Saturday night? You're drawn gate 3, turn it up. He's a hand-up horse nowadays. So do you expect him to cross Jim RT and in turn release you?
Oh, that's the map that I was sort of hoping was going to happen. Stranger things that happen though.
Yeah. What about Always Smoking? He missed last week. He was a late scratching. Obviously, he's taken no harm. Where does he get to from gate 4?
Oh, look, I think he's in for a tough trip, but, he's sort of proved of recent times just how good he's going, so, I'm sure he'll be thereabouts.
All right. Were you always driving Black Sedance here?
Yeah, this week I was. Last week before Always Smoking, so I had a bit of a doubt over his head there, and, I'd sort of planned on driving Always Smoking and sort of made a last-minute change, but, this week I was always sticking with Black Sedance. Okay.
The Trotters Sprinters race 6, top of the moment. He draws gate 1. Were you pleased when you saw that draw for him?
Yeah, we were. Obviously, he was scratch sick there a few weeks ago too, but all seems well. And, he's a horse probably not quite up to these, but with his speed with the right trip, he can be dangerous.
Oh, he was lethal last time out winning. Probably luck went his way in saying that, but just the way he finishes off. For a furlong, he's as quick as most trotters going around.
Yeah, definitely. He's sort of, his point-to-point speed is better than most trotters I've ever driven, so... If he's close enough and hasn't done much in the run, he can really be, very lethal.
Are you confident that he trots smoothly and he's comfortable throughout here from barrier 1?
Oh, we just cross our fingers, hope for the best there, but, that's all we can do.
All right, Royal Dan, he's the key horse here. He comes back to Queensland after that DJA. He ended up missing the final. Is he the obvious horse to beat?
Yeah, obviously he is, but, it's a, short course and... some good quality trotters in there, so I think the whole field is going to be hard to beat, to be honest.
All right. So are you confident with him or not?
Oh, look, it just depends on his behaviour, and, I think if we're second fence, I think it'll work out all right. So, yeah, we'll just see what happens and hope he races well.
Okay, race 8, you had the choice of 2 drives here, and it wouldn't have been easy, I'm tipping. The Janitor, who's back from that Victoria Derby campaign, and Attachment, who blitzed them last week in the Peak of the Creek. Let me ask this question with Attachment first up from last week. Was that a PB?
Yeah, I think it was. I was super pleased with his run in the Triad, a few months ago. I thought that was probably, his best performance, even though he only finished, I think, 4th there. So, but obviously winning the night and winning a feature race, you have to probably say that's the best so far.
So was it a difficult choice to make here?
Yeah, a little bit. I was, we've got a good opinion of the Janitor, and he can be a bit quirky. So, I was sort of always leaning that way. Whether or not it's the best chance, I'm not sure, but time will tell.
Okay, the market says he's the pick of them, but when you start looking at this field, Attachment, he's a brilliant gate speed horse. You know better than anyone. If he gets an easy lead here, I know it's 2100, he's going to prove hard to catch.
Yeah, well, I'd picture him on the front end. He's so fast off the gate, and as I said, the Triad, he was over 2100 that night, and he ran it out really good. So, yeah, I think he's going to take some catching.
All right, the Janitor has a recent victory over Ironclad, who's the other key runner here, and he's got an awkward draw the inside of the second row. So just with the Janitor, since he's been back from Melbourne, all okay and he's trained on well?
Yeah, everything's really good. He didn't handle Melton all that well that night, but since then he's been great. So, hopefully everything's going to go good Saturday night. Okay,
so hoping for a 1-2 result there in that race.
That would be perfect if it did happen.
All right, well, let's hope for a 1-2 result here in race 9. RDB Mickey, and she's full of spirit. Let me ask this question. RDB Mickey was just unbelievably good last week, downing Chinchilla. You had the choice. You could have gone to the Forever Gold or this race. How close was that call?
Oh, no, this was always the plan to go the 3-year-old race. And we knew Jason was bringing some good mares up, and, barrier draw was going to be so important in the open mares, whereas this way we just sort of felt she was probably going to be a bit more of a standout. So, we always sort of planned on going this way.
Okay, she's incredibly fast.
Yeah, she's a top filly, and, we're just very fortunate to be able to have her.
Okay, so how does this race play out? Do you want to lead? Are you looking for cover? What are your options here?
Look, with the good draw, the plan just to hold the lead all the way, and, I think class will tell there.
Can She's Full of Spirit run second?
I'd like to hope she could run second. She was really good last week. Yeah, but I wouldn't think she'd be able to beat RDB Mickey.
Okay, what happens after Saturday night with RDB Mickey?
Oh, look, we'll just talk to the owner, and, more than likely I think she'll continue to race on.
All right, the last race, 2 runners again here. Mr. McLaren, better than a rocker. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, obviously both horses have been racing really well, and, both got good barrier draws. So, they look like they're, very good chances.
Plan A with Mr. McLaren to lead?
Yeah, it definitely seems like he's a better horse on the front end, so that's the plan, yeah.
All right, what's the pick of your drives apart, and don't say RDB Mickey, so what's the obvious one for you?
Oh, look, I'm really pleased with the entire book, so, hopefully we can get one winner. If we can get more than that, I'd be happy. So, just really pleased to be there Saturday night with a couple of good chances.
All right, well, you're the man with a hot hand. 4 winners last Saturday night. Here's hoping it's something similar. Appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
A big thanks to both of our drivers, Jack Chapple and Pete McMullen. Hopefully they can get plenty of winners on Saturday night. Pete had a night out last week, 4 winners. It'll be interesting to see how he fares this weekend. I'm going to put the moz on, or the pressure on, because I'm going to mark him as our best bet. Race 4, number 8, Duke of Scotland. I think this setup for this race, the Bill Dixon, looks tailor-made for this horse. My name's Evan, fit, in form, drawn barrier 1. If he leads, Duke of Scotland will be right on his back, and I don't think he'll be able to hold him out. So race 4, number 8, Duke of Scotland, I'm going to mark him as the best bet on the program. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly. We've got 10 races, plenty of features there at the Creek on Saturday night. Looking forward to seeing you trackside. And don't forget, on Tuesday, it's New Zealand Cup Day. Let's cheer home Leap to Fame, the Queensland star, aiming to become the first Queensland-trained star to win that fame race in New Zealand. So that's Tuesday afternoon. We'll see you at Albion Park Saturday night.